Super quick intro to explain what's happening here. When I shot the video on Nerf darts, I actually shot a video on a ton of darts, but when I was editing it, it got way too long, so now I'm going to show you the rest of the darts that I filmed. Toys is a competitor to Nerf, and they use this type of dart right here. This is the long distance dart, and there have been issues with this dart over a very long period of time. These aren't the best darts that you can get, but you get a lot of them when you buy a Buzzbee blaster. Some of the typical problems that you'll run into is the fact that the glue is never really well constructed around the tip of the dart and the foam body, and they're a little heavier, so you're not going to see as quick a performance when you're firing darts out of your blaster. This is a new type of Buzzbee dart, and it kind of is more in line with all the Accu-Strike darts, the waffle-headed darts. We'll get into that. But it's worth noting that Buzzbee is changing things up a little bit. They're not just hanging on to that long-distance dart that, you know, again, people have had issues with. Speaking of other Nerf competitors, we have Xshot. Now, this dart right here for the longest time was Xshot's dart. And what was interesting about it is that it had a foam tip, and the other thing is it's a little bit shorter than your typical Nerf Elite dart. Just enough that these darts would not fit into standard Nerf magazines, causing them to jam if you were to try. That all changed with this dart right here. This is the Air Pocket Xshot dart, and if you can tell, it is exactly the same size as a Nerf dart, meaning that these can be used in any sort of standard Nerf mag, as well as other Xshot blasters, Buzzbee blasters, anything that takes, like, typically a Nerf dart will now work with all the Xshot darts. They've phased these out. I don't know if you can find these in brand new Xshot blasters. The only time I think you're going to find these darts now at this point is if you thrift a blaster that has darts loaded in it, or it's just some old stock at like a Ross or something like that. Now, Xshot also did a rival competitor too for a while. This is a Chaos round. It looks very similar to a Nerf rival style round. It is a little squishier, and the Xshot Chaos rounds are typically this deep red color. We haven't gotten a lot into the half-length dart world, but you typically find worker darts as the half-length dart standard for a long time. Now again, that's slightly changing, but worker darts have been around for a long time. This is your typical worker Gen 3 one, and just recently I was sent a package by Out of Darts, and the wonderful team there allowed me to take a look at some of the heavy and lighter darts in the half-length variety. What I think is cool about that is that companies are specifically gearing and tailoring dart types for specific types of play. I think it's just a fascinating development within the foam dart space. The best foam dart display I have is this from dartzone. It kind of goes over all of the darts available from dartzone. Well, I think most of them, and we'll do that. But first, I wanted to highlight this. This is an Adventure Force round here. And again, it's a competitor to Rival. It's a competitor to the Chaos line. And this is something we saw from the Adventure Force line that was the way of dartzone. The slogan for dartzone is #1 darts, period, so they put a lot of emphasis on having different types of darts. What's interesting about this is that some of the darts are exclusive to big box stores or specific dartzone lines. The standard for a lot of foam dart blasters has been these waffle-headed darts right here. This is something that you could get at Walmart for a really good value. You get a whole bucket of them, and the darts would fly well, they would fly quickly, and you know, they were just typically a better option for you. And then we have these chili darts right here. This is something that you would see on dartzone blasters at Target, and these right here, the Ember darts in the full and half lengths, are from the Adventure Force Pro lines, something like the Nexus Pro, the Aeon Pro, the Conquest Pro. That's something that you could find the Ember darts from. And this is kind of what kicked off the explosion of half-length darts being widely available at a reasonable cost. Now, the other thing we see over here are the bamboo darts. These came in the Dartzone Pro lines, so think of things like the Mark 1, the Mark 1.1, Mark 1.2. Since then, they've slightly modified the bamboo dart, so this isn't a comprehensive list of all the Dartzone darts, but it's pretty darn close. Oh gosh, I forgot about the ruby darts right here. So this is from the Dartzone Max line. This is something that you could get at Target. They are very similar to the Ember darts. There's just the difference of a different internal tip structure that makes them just a little bit different. At Toy Fair 2023, Dartzone announced a new type of dart, one with a hollow tip that you would fill with flour of all things, that would allow you to tag and mark your targets when they hit. Which solves a problem that all of these dart types on the table that I've shown you have. You're relying on the honesty and wherewithal and ability to detect a tag
from people in a foam dart battle. Something like these flower-tipped darts should go a long way in helping people be honest, as well as helping referees determine whether or not a tag was successful. We've been talking a lot about darts here, and just like we talked about, there are going to be more dart types in the future. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this all develops from here on out.
And I have no more darts. Well, actually, I have buckets of darts, but no more that are unique, or at least ones that I can find easily. If you have any questions about darts, be sure to leave them in the comment section. Otherwise, specific requests for darts, I'll be happy to look for and make more videos on it, because apparently you guys love foam darts. All right, thanks for watching.